Hi, I'm not going to talk about again and again the same idea to see if I can communicate. The whole religion, I feel, centered around this basic principle. And but my background very strong in Zen and Shin Buddhism. As you may have seen, there's a meditation uh, video I make every day, and say focus on breathing and so forth. So pick from that point of view why it is important, which I said it already, so but from a little bit different angle, which is the Myokonin story. That there are many Myokonins in Japan, and it's not well known. Daisetsu put the story of Myokonin and the Shin Buddhism, but Zen was already strong and powerful and well known enough, so he couldn't spend much time, but only one book in English. But toward the end of his life, he realized the group of people called Myokonin, the lower level of the people, just common people, and there's such a gem, the treasures that they have captured way back from Shinran's time, which I would think more than 1,200 years ago or something like that, originating from Buddhism, but there's a little change. So in Japan, this is like a flower blooming, in my view. And in meditation, breathing, focus on breathing, is well known. But if you look at the Myokonin, how they look at it, it's very interesting, coming to the same point. So that's the one that I want to focus on. Well, there's a sense of those Myokonin, all of them basically have the same notion of not killing any living being. And that's a connection to this breathing, because when we kill someone, not someone, like a fish or a bird, anything, they're also living being, and they have the lung, maybe in a different form for fish, to get the oxygen inhaled, and CO2, carbon dioxide, goes out. And if you stop the oxygen coming in, the fish will die. Oxygen content in the water, in that case, or the bird in the air, or anything like that. So it's all the relationship from the tree to get the water and photosynthesis, oxygen, and go into the animals and us and the fish, and they inhale and goes out with the fish, not the fish, carbon dioxide. And without that, we cannot live. So the notion of them Myokonin don't want to kill anything is coming from one example that is breathing. That's what I focus on in this video. Because I think the linkage of the breathing meditation to the Myokonin's view of the breathing is different, related to how important it is to live life. So each breathing in and out, you get the energy in, and the exhaust gas goes out. So the expression is something like Namu Amida Butsu is the notion of Amida, to help. So Nam is let yourself go, which is letting go, breathe out the air. dirty air or used air, delusion, and then sucking in is the fresh air, this oxygen, and source of life, so to speak. So each breathing in and out represent Namu Amida Butsu. The term Namu Amida Butsu, you forget it. It's just an anchoring mechanism, you can think. So Amida represent that life force. Amida represent nature's way to make us alive. So the word Amida Buddha and the nature in their mind is same, basically. And without them, we cannot live. So there's a word in Japanese called tariki versus jiriki. Tariki is other power. Jiriki is your power. The self-centered way of riki is power. Power is how we may use, especially from the mind, the self-identity to save. And tariki is other power, not your power, but the air is the power. Nature is the power. So, from that point of view, appreciating the nature's way is very important. That corresponds to the Amida's way. So it's kind of like you call it Copernic's revolution. In that case, Earth was at the center, but they realized that the universe is the way it's moving and the Earth is not the center. Earth is moving, but it's similar to Jiriki and Tariki. Tariki is you are the center of the universe. But Tariki is universe. What's happening is the whole reason of our being. So by going through this, like a Copernic's revolution, switching that you centered to the universe centered, the Amida centered way, and even to feel that happening in breathing or the moment. So there is the analogy, how do you call it, equivalent way of realization of the power of breathing in Myokonin, but also within Zen or meditation. You focus on breathing, natural breathing, and you have peace, and you depend on the air and all the stuff happening in your body, not in the brain. I think I may have shared this story, but I'll talk about it only once. I shared when I was exercising in the pool to see how long I can stay down. And I was monitoring how long I can stay. And I could stay like 3 minutes. And that was surprising. So I was happy, okay, maybe in 5 minutes. Just sitting and with a little weight with me so that I can just sit. So it's a static case. I'm not moving much. So it's easier to stay longer that way. But one day I was watching the diving video and they're talking about shallow water blackout. So in the shallow water, if you are just occupied in chasing the fish or whatever is happening, you feel not like living outside of the water and forget about the water, so to speak. So that many people go through this blackout. I met one person who told me the story. This is in Malibu area. He is chasing and catching the lobster and the fish and happy. And then next time he realized that he was floating up on the surface of the ocean. He was unconscious, but for some reason he was awakened. So he had a blackout. And that's what happens. So something of that nature, that story went on, how important it is not to go through that shallow water blackout. So there's a technique about it. But given that information, I was again doing in the pool, down at the, and then usually checking the watch timer, how long I stay. And when I passed like 1 minute, maybe 1 minute and a half, all of a sudden I thought about the shallow water blackout. And then my mind goes, that's dangerous. You may have to be careful. Otherwise, that kind of story. And then I realized that my breathing almost stopped. And the reason for that I understood or thought about is that because of this upset feeling, what goes in the mind, this is dangerous. The oxygen is consumed up in the mind. That's the reason why I felt my breathing, I'm out of air. So I had to go up, and of course everything was okay because I had the monitoring. So every time I dive, I monitor how much time I'm staying and not go over. So sometimes counting the seconds and so forth. So that tells the story of the relationship about the mind and body. Mind is your power, and the body and heart, breathing and all that, is other power. Breathing, lung activity can be seen halfway because you can control the breathing with your brain. Breathe out, breathe in, and you can do that. But natural breathing is when this is not done. And you are in line to the way of nature, or Amida nature. Amida and nature is equivalent. That's the way they see it. So I may have posted a video about way of nature or law of nature. What's the core of our being? And that's what I point out, the importance of connecting to other power or original power. Or I also mentioned in the Zen term, that's the face of the original being before your parents are born. Meaning at the root of our starting to live as human, and even before that, who are they? So that's the Zen expression, but I interpret. You don't need to interpret, but that's kind of like a Zen koan people talk about, is that the source of who we are is other power. We didn't come to earth because of our power, but we start to think because of the use of the mind and logic and what can be done with this. So powerful. So that's the danger. And therefore, Tariki, those Myokonin especially, and maybe because of that, people at the basic people understand it. And there's not many people at the even Shin Buddhism, higher level of the priest, they may not think like that because it's unscientific or whatever the way they see it. They just want to say you believe it and then you'll be okay. But this is a connection to the law of nature and the origin of Shin Buddhism, Namu Amida Butsu, anchoring mechanism, and stay that. So there are many poems about breathing. Sai Chi is one of the Myokonin, and this one I know, a few others at least, make many points related to that. So it is not that you, in your mind, yourself, is the reason that you are alive. So when you realize that, there's appreciation. Not too much emphasis in the intellect, and struggle and all that now is compensated or passed beyond the limitation. The bird is out of the cage, I often say. But we think that's the only game in town, in the mind. So meditation is to get out of the cage. And Namu Amida Butsu, or Amen, or silent prayer, meditation, samadhi, is also a way out to connect to the other power or internal power or the way of nature. So if I want to close this, I just want to make sure that I make this point clear. Because of the technological advancement and the information flooding everywhere, and the confusion is being developed and world become turbulent, I see a need for us to be almost like Myokonin, or toward that end, to know who we really are, our origin, and be able to appreciate the fact that we can live because of the nature's power. And with that, maybe that's part of awakening. When I had the awakening in Vipassana, some unknown force took over, that energy was going up, and I got the big surprise. So that's other power. But you can call it real power, the power of nature, whatever way you want to think about. But thinking is only this, just in the case of my swimming or diving in the pool. So appreciate and to realize it's not me that I am alive, but with the help of major help of the universe or the nature, even to digest food and process it and take care of the whole existence. I believe that's the reason why Myokonin, they don't want to kill anything. In the turbulent world, more information and confusion and rushing to do more and more, competing, we may have more gap of people who are moving in the technological advancement and the efficiency and all that, and leaving the people behind. That structure is very unhealthy, and the one who are left behind may revolve in different ways. Power against power. But there may be a way of power, Amida power, or the nature's power, to prevail, to find the wisdom and compassion to live in a peaceful manner and deal with the turbulent world and shed the light in the area if we can do that, instead of rat race and get lost in the process. Thank you.